Hey folks, it's your main Manny, and I'm here with Sasha. Sasha is a Belgian Malinois Husky mix, and what we're working on right now is reinforcing her commands using the remote collar around low-level, controllable distractions in a controlled environment. So what we're going to be doing is putting her into commands and then actually actively creating distractions and rewarding her when she continues to stay in her command despite the fact that there is a distraction, and reinforcing her going back into her command if she gets out of the command when she encounters a distraction. So what we are going to do, good, when she's doing good, is use those marker words and reinforce with food, good. Good. And if she becomes distracted, we're going to say, and then we are going to start tapping the remote collar. And then when she goes back into the proper position, we will then use a marker word to let her know that that is the proper position, and we will stop tapping the button. Let's go. Good girl. Good. 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 So when I give the let's go command, that means walk with me, stay near me, and because the dog is on the leash, that means do not let the leash become tight and do not wander off. If they were off leash, I would give them more freedom in the let's go command. Sit. Good. 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 Let's go. Good. Place. Place. Good. One thing you may see when the dog is distracted is they may not break out of the command. In fact, they may not go fully into the command to begin with. And so you may find in the presence of distractions, you may need to give the command, say add negative reinforcement via the remote and also or the leash, and then tell them the command again, and then reinforce. Good job with food. Place. Good. So it's important to note that I am guiding her a very little bit with the leash pressure via the slip lead. Good. But the real goal is to get the dog to feel the sensation of the remote collar and to put themselves back into that position without feeling any sense of pressure or force during this phase of training. The goal is to they get out of their command, oh man, that's weird, I feel this sensation on my neck. What if I go back into my command? Oh, it went away. Good. And if you haven't seen my video yet on negative reinforcement, I highly suggest you check that out because it will help you understand this. Okay? Place. Good. Let's go. Good. So there she actually looked at the food in the bowl and she decided to pay attention to me instead. Good girl. Sit. Down. Good. Good girl. It's really important when you're making these distractions during this phase that they're not too distracting, but they're distracting enough. Down. Good. That the dog will actually get out of their command, so we can show them how to go back into their command. Good girl. And as always, we're aiming for that 80% success rate. And in this case, what's success going to be? Good. That's going to be 8 out of 10 times. She either stayed in her command when a distraction came out, or if she got out of her command, we were able to easily get her to go back into the command with just a very low level of electrical stimulation and a very subtle amount of leash pressure. And that afterwards, she learns to then stay in the command despite the distraction. Good girl. Yeah. Good girl. Nice, baby. Good little baby, huh? Good girl. Wow. Oh, okay. Good girl. Good girl. Nice. Good. Okay. Break. Good girl. Sit. Down. Let's go. Good. Now we're going to make it a little more challenging by having one of my own dogs come out. Break. Sit. Down. Down. You'll notice during this phase, I'm oftentimes using the leash to guide the dog back into the proper position. That's really important because, as I've said in other videos, the remote collar is not directional. It doesn't tell your dog which direction to move, whereas the leash is actually able to tell them, hey, move down, move this way, move that way, by the way the leash pulls them. Emma, leave it. Down. Keep in mind, we are at level 4 out of 100. This is not uncomfortable to the dog in any way, shape, or form. I cannot stress that enough, that during this phase, we are not trying to make the dog uncomfortable. We are simply helping them understand if you get out of a command in the presence of a distraction, the proper thing to do is to go back into that command again. Break. Down. Good. Emaniti. Down. Good. We want to be very careful that we, although initially may put them back into the command and then good and reward them for going back into the command, eventually we want to start phasing that out. Like right here, good. I had her go back into the command and then I waited a while before reinforcing her, because what we don't want is a dog that goes into the command, gets out of the command, goes back into it, gets another treat, gets out of the command, goes back into the command, gets another treat, and they become hooked on this cycle of breaking commands so that they can get rewarded for getting back into the command. Emaniti. Down. And I need this dog here to understand that unless she hears the BREAK word, the YES word, good, or the let's go, or I give her a heel, there is no other reason to get out of this command unless you hear those 4 words. Good. And you'll notice there I actually phased out the leash and I didn't use the leash to guide her back into that position. And we're going to try it one more time and see if this is too distracting for her. No, it seems like it is. And we may end on this note. Or we may need to make it less distracting by having Emma over here. Down. So we could see that about 6 feet away, me giving Emma food in front of her, that's about the level of distraction, good, that she can handle. If we were any closer, she'd be too tempted to get up out of the command, and then we would have to be continuously putting her back in there. So the goal is to, yes, tempt them, entice them, distract them, get them to break out of their commands, and then have them successfully go back into the command and then stay in it in the face of the exact distraction that was just presented to them. Good. Good. Break. Break. And also, when I work a dog like this, Emma, no. I can use that food bowl that they've kind of had their eye on for the entire training session to at the very end say, yeah, you did great. Go ahead and go and have that bowl. The reason I'm not putting food on the ground right now is because I don't want the dog to be practicing eating stuff off the ground, or when I say break and we're out in the real world, their initial thought is, oh man, there's food on the ground, let me find it. So I like using bowls to put the food on top of so it's clear. I'm not training you to eat food off the ground. Maybe if we were doing this in our kitchen or something, it wouldn't be a big deal. Okay, folks, so I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe button. And remember, we don't blame them. We train them. Until next time, folks, I love you.